Hey everybody, QJ here. Just wanted to jump in to start right away and give a little trigger warning for this episode. We are analyzing some music videos and we will be discussing themes of suicide, self-harm, abuse, murder, and some religious analysis. So if those things make you uncomfortable, please sit this one out and take care of your mental health first. Bye!
Shut up and sit down.
Trusted, well, I have trusted you because things sound great, so it is working very well.
It's working! Welcome back to another episode of the Bias Effect podcast. It's your host, QJ.
It's your other host, Nikki.
And today...
It's gonna be a big one. Okay, so the last episode we talked about some BTS music videos, and one of them was I Need You, which when you still watch it straight up, it does look whack, bonkers, whatever you want to say, but oh my gosh, we did some research and there is that is the beginning of a massive arc that we had no idea was coming. And we, I don't know, found this out, let's say a couple weeks ago, and the amount of research we did and holes we dug and just got buried in it was insane. Was not expecting it in the slightest.
Yeah, so I guess as a general thing, like people probably maybe know that like some K-pop groups have like overarching concepts that are supposed to be like sprinkled out throughout their albums and their new concepts and comebacks and stuff like that. And that is what we discovered with the BTS I Need You start of a whole like concept of theirs that has a lot of theories and a lot of like videos have different plot points, I guess. It just goes crazy.
It's so much, and I've never seen such an intricate plot device in a whole series of music videos.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't know what the Stray Kids storyline is. I mean, I looked up a little bit for a future episode we're doing, but like I don't really see the story. I don't know what it is. I don't know the AT story besides that they're like various types of delinquents throughout time. But like seeing this one, I was like, this is such a clear story to me. Like I can follow this story on my own. I don't even need to look up a theory, even though we did. But I was like, I could have pieced some of this together on my own, I think.
Yeah, and
If I once I started realizing.
yeah, and it's like kind of like a real theme too, which I think is
Oh
like
yeah, it's like yeah.
very, like, I was like, oh, I'm like really touched by this too. Like the overall, no, I was like, I couldn't watch some anyway. So QJ dug deep and did the whole Reddit lore, did all of that, and I went through and watched literally every single official BTS music video. And so yeah, so we're gonna go through it all.
One day I looked up to see if there was a Euphoria music video because we had just talked about it, and I was like thinking about how I had never looked up Silver Spoon before. I was like, I can't let this opportunity pass me anymore. So I was like, let me just see. And there was a 9-minute video, and I was like, okay, I sent it to you, and we were both like, I don't have time for this right now. I'll watch it later. And then we ended up watching it at the same time because we were talking about something else. And literally as soon as it starts, it's like recapping I Need You, and we were like, wait a second, what is this?
Blown away.
And like we just maybe thought those two were connected, and then again later I was watching the music video for Run, and I was like, wait a second, this is connected. And then I immediately looked it up online. I found all these like people's analysis and like videos breaking it down, and then starting to watch other music videos, I was like, wait, there's more. There's definitely more here.
So going through it all, like I didn't deep dive into like Reddit or whatever, but I knew basically the theory. So we'll just say the theory. The theory is that Jin died, and the videos are all of the other 6 members trying to cope with the loss of their best friend. Basically, that's
It's
it.
like their spiral after, or like how they react to this death in their life, and how Jin reacts to like learning or realizing that he's
dead. Which, can I just say, this is why I also find it genius as well, because this gives a whole other aspect to their music. Because a lot of their music is like, oh, like, we made the comment in the last episode, it's like, oh, what, I'm gonna kill myself because a girl didn't like me or whatever. No, this is a whole other aspect of, like, no, I want to kill myself because my best friend died. I was like, oh my god. That's, like, a whole other layer of, like, so there's, like, the two kinds of loves, romantic love and, like, platonic love, or, like,
brotherly love.
Yeah, best friend, soulmate type love. It's like, oh wow, cool. And with the Euphoria thing too, was from the Love Yourself era, and I Need You's from the beautiful, I forget what it is.
Most beautiful moment in life or whatever.
There you go. And so I was like, okay, this is spanning through different eras. And then I could say I found evidence all the way up to, like, the latest album. And I was like,
well, yeah,
wow.
I think I saw the Blood, Sweat and Tears video, and I was like, this is connected, but that's, like, after Love Yourself era.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, it's still going. I'm curious to see what you found later, because I was like, by the time they get to Dynamite, like, there's no way.
Again, I have my own, like, partial theories that I'm like, I don't know if I believe it per se as lore, but I kind of like it in my own head. Because there's a very, like, we have a background in film, so you could see, like, similar themes throughout a lot of these music videos, so it couldn't be an accident that certain videos were superly bright and out of, like, anyway, so we'll get into that. But so I started off watching like, their early era, their Too Cool for School era, and School Love Affair, Dark and Wild. Those don't really correlate into this part, but I just thought it was hilarious because I watched their early ones, and I guess they're from the music videos anyway, they were, like, tough boys trying to, like, rebel against whatever, and I was like, watching Jin act hard was hilarious to me. I'm like, he is not the hard boy of the group. And then, yeah, School Love Affair and Dark and Wild, they're kind of, like, in, like, high school. It was interesting to see that vibe compared to now. Like, they are totally not like that at all.
I know, anytime I see those early music videos, I'm like, it's really RM for me. Anytime I see his, like, hair, and he's always wearing those, like, sunglasses, I'm like, I don't even know who that is.
No, and, like I said, Jin acts tough, and I'm like, that's not.
Yeah, that ain't you.
Or Jimin too. I'm like, Jimin, I mean, no.
Jimin looks so funny in early videos. Makes me laugh.
It's wild. They're all wild. Yeah. I watched them all, and I don't really see any clear at all, really. So they didn't really do any of, like, now within each album, there was a theme. You can tell that they were all connected within those, like, eras, I would say. But then, yeah, then we get to the I Need You era, and okay.
Yeah, we were off a little bit on, like, our analysis of I Need You. Like, I think we both thought, like, in RM's thing, that his car was being stolen.
Yeah.
No.
No.
And if you actually watch it, like, he literally is standing at the gas station, that car pulls up, and he goes and pumps their gas. Like, he obviously works there. But both of us were like, oh, the girl takes his car and runs away.
Well, yeah, because, again, in our concept of first, like, kind of watch-throughs of I Need You was they are all feeling the loss of a broken-up girlfriend.
Yeah.
And, like, that's why it was so drastic. I was like, there's no other way. Like, we said, like... J-Hope takes pills and tries to kill himself, so we were like, oh, that must be just, like, a girl stealing his car. But yeah, no, turns out it's a various ways of them dealing with Jin's death. So, like, RM just goes back to work. He tries to just keep moving on, as it were, but
like, his job sucks, that people are, like, rude, and they're throwing
garbage
stuff out the window and all that.
So he doesn't want to work there anymore, or he, like, reaches a breaking point. And yeah, V, that was the other funny one.
Yeah, the V one was just so crazy. He
just stabs a random guy. Oh, it was his father. Okay, that makes more sense.
When we watched it, I thought that it was his girlfriend and, like, someone that she was with now, and he, like, was going, and maybe she was cheating, or maybe they broke up and she got with someone new. I thought he was stabbing his girlfriend's, like, new boyfriend. And then you were like, oh, I think it's some random guy, and I was like, honestly, I have no idea. But apparently it's his parents. Apparently he kills his dad.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're supposed to know that, but...
So in the deep lore of this, at the time, I don't think you're supposed to know that. I think they retcon it later. So the Wings album, they did a bunch of short videos, or short music videos, but they were kind of just short films. And they show V's, like...
Oh, okay, they expand on who those people are.
They kind of expand on it a bit. Yeah, they kind of, like, show him getting beat up and then him with his mom, like,
Mm.
and then his dad's in the back. So, like, you, like, get the illusion that he was also being abused by his father, and his father was abusing his mother. So you get more of that concept
I see.
later in the, the Wings era. But, yeah, so, yeah, we were so wrong. And we need to throw respect on BTS to name that they would never do anything haphazardly like we at first thought I Need You was.
It makes sense too, like when you watch that, like when we watched it, we were like, I don't really know what Jin's up to, because there's no real like breaking up, like he's not really doing anything, right? And we were just like, I don't know, he's doing his own thing, he's just like in his room or whatever. But now it makes more sense because it's like, well, he's like living in a different like place than where they are, so that's why he doesn't have like
Yeah.
an extreme scene, I guess.
Yes, 100%. And, like, yeah, we were both like, whatever, Jin's just, like, burning a flower, and, like, he's alone in a room, and it's like, oh, no, he's, like, in some kind of purgatory state.
Yeah.
Where he's trying, and in the lore of the video, it's, he's trying to come to grips that, yeah, he's dead, and that he won't be with his friends anymore. Okay. Tragic.
Yeah, I guess like it's like it cuts between like his memories with his friends and then him like realizing that these are memories and not something he's living right now.
Right.
And then he's in that like transitional room where I guess yeah, until he fully accepts that he's dead, he's kind of in like a middle area.
I can't.
I know, it's crazy. And like I so yeah, there's scenes where like he's supposedly in these memories and then suddenly he'll like look at the camera, like look at you as the viewer, which is supposed to represent him like realizing that he's watching a memory. I guess kind of like how you're watching a memory.
Yeah, breaking the fourth wall,
Yeah.
like, directly on like, a very good example of breaking the fourth wall on, well, I mean, breaking the fourth wall literally means you're breaking the illusion between the art and the
Yeah.
viewer. So some films do it, for satirical reasons, but yeah, this felt like you just said, it was like, okay, cool. He's acknowledging that, yeah, I'm watching this with you. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, whoa.
And you see it as a recurring theme. Other members
Yes.
start doing it as like time goes on, which was
Yes.
like blowing my mind.
I know.
Anytime they looked at the camera, I was like, oh my god.
What's happening? Yeah, there's a lot. Jungkook is very much in that as well. He's on, yeah, we'll get to Jungkook, but also we have to touch base on Jin is always has a white lily with him.
It always has six petals.
I never clocked the 6 petals.
Yeah. I mean I didn't count every single time it shows it, but like
shut up.
there's also one where it like a light version, like a flower of light,
It projects.
goes on his chest, 6 petals over his heart.
Shut the fuck up!
I know, that's what I'm saying.
That's crazy. Okay, and then also I looked up the symbolism, though, of a white lily.
Oh, okay.
It literally means purity and rebirth.
Okay.
Shut up.
Rebirth.
So, like, could be rebirth, like, or, like, rebirth, like,
Yeah.
going on to his next form, like, death. I think it's also, it could also be used for both weddings or funerals. So, rejuvenation of the soul represents purity, commitment, rebirth, which is why they're often used as sympathy flowers. Oh shit!
Oh,
so, and
that's
we'll
so
see
crazy,
the white
actually.
lily,
Like rejuvenation of the soul. That I feel like.
and like it comes. It's like it's a theme too. Like the white lily, they burn the lily too, which means they could be rejecting the fact that he's dead. A bunch of stuff. Anyway, again, this is where I was like, from a film background, like it's actual art. Like I know some music videos are quite good, but again, like you were talking about Stray Kids as a comparison, I like their music videos. They're fun, but there's no like overarching theme. There's not a lot of symbolism.
Yeah, like there's nothing that I can see that maybe if we start really looking, we'll see something. But
nothing like that.
On the surface, you could see this BTS thing right away on the surface.
Yeah,
like, you don't even have to look.
Totally. Like again, you said, we were watching the Euphoria video together, and of course they like jump cut at the beginning, like a bunch of clips from I Need You, but then in the actual video, there's like direct like replayings of the I Need You actions And it was like, what? And we were talking about it too, like, as a person who's, like, worked in film, I'm like, the fact that they were able to, like, perfectly reframe a lot of that is just, like, dedication, basically, to wanting to get it right, too, which, in my mind, music videos are usually, like, a faster turnaround. Like, people don't care, quote unquote, as much. But they did. They put a lot of effort into these videos and try to make this continuous. Oh, my gosh. Okay. The craziest thing to me with this whole theory of, like, that because we talked about it too in their last episode of, there's, like, a drastic cut between them happy and them, like, running around together, and, like, that is, like, Jin's memories. And there's a cool moment when V is stabbing his dad, and back in the memory, he's, like, actually, like, crying, screaming out. It's, like, such a juxtaposition. And I think it's supposed to be the moment of, like, oh, all these, like, good times are now, like, broken apart. And I was like, oh my god. But that's, like, that is the beginning of this arc, is the I Need You thing. There's a clear delineation between Jin and the 6 members, and then the next video, which directly links, is Run.
Okay, I wasn't sure if Euphoria or Run was first.
Run was on the same album as I Need You, and yeah, so that comes next. And the Dope is also in that same album, but that video, I didn't see any connections really. It was more just a generic, like, music video.
Maybe it's just a happy memory.
Oh, totally. Oh, and the other, no, I know, but there is an overall theme of sugar and fire and Jimin and water. And now I feel like I want to rewatch Dope because there's a lot of fire when Sugar's around. So who knows? But yeah, I don't really think it's fully linked at all. And then the other thematic stuff that we start seeing in Run is that certain members are always together. So RM and V are always together. Jimin and J-Hope are always together. And Jungkook and Sugar are always together. But Jin doesn't ever have anybody. We can expand upon that later. But yeah, so Run pretty much picks up directly after I Need You, because it starts with RM coming out, and he's wearing, I think, pretty much the same outfit we've seen him in I Need You, and he has, like, the lollipop cigarette.
Yeah.
And then it starts with RM walking in through the train yard, being like, I miss this time. Miss this time together.
I thought, to me, Run seemed a lot like the direct aftermath of Jin, quote unquote, dying, and, like, before, like, when they're deep in their, like, unacceptance of it, because the whole time they're, like, basically, like, running amok, and, like, they're causing trouble, vandalism, and, like,
drinking,
trashing the cars and stuff like that. They're partying and they're drinking and all that, and then, like, in the theory, this is where Jungkook starts to, like, process what's happened, supposedly, and he starts to, like, come to terms with the fact that their friend has died and that they're spiraling out of control, I guess. And in this video, he looks at you when there's a scene where Jungkook and Suga fight, and in the theory, people are saying that's when he's telling him, like, we have to cool it here, like, our friend's dead, he's not coming back. But Suga's more, like, completely blind to that, doesn't want to accept it at all. And then they fight, like, they literally fist fight, and when he's sitting on the floor, it pans out from him and he's watching you as you're watching the cut to the party and then the cut to the empty room.
It's like a realization
that's supposedly supposed to be him, like, like, he's realizing what the truth is, and, like, trying to get other people to maybe realize. And I think that connects nicely with his, like, I Need You thing, because he's just wandering the streets, like, lost in thought. And, like, to me, that was, like, that's when he's like, holy shit, like, this thing has happened. That's why he's not paying attention, why he gets his ass kicked, because he's, like, running into people.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that theme carries on, because there's a lot of videos where it's, like, just Jungkook by himself after a while, especially in Fake Love. In Fake Love, he's, like, very much on his own.
Yeah.
And I was like, and it's, like, to me, very mirroring of when Jin is on his own, like, watching his friends. It's now Jungkook watching his friends, trying to help them.
I know. I had a sub theory for a while, but now that you talk about this, it makes a lot more sense. I had a theory that he was also kind of dead, or he was, like, a Reaper type character, where he was, like, the one taking all of his other friends into, like, a heaven state with Jin. But, like, that's...
Okay. My theory is that they're all dead. They've all died.
Okay.
like,
Okay.
and in my theory
Okay.
is
Yeah.
that V is the one that is killing his friends. Because you
Okay.
see
Okay.
sometimes V, like in Blood, Sweat, Tears, he's missing his angel's wings, and when he turns around to look at you, he's got like an evil smile on. And in Fake Love, he also had like kind of a weird look on his face. To me, I think that because he killed someone, his soul is corrupt, so then he starts like taking his other friends out. I mean, that was just my theory, but like
Okay.
that's why when
Okay.
they're in that like fake love space, they're all in like their own separate rooms, but JK can see everybody because like he had
Yeah.
already accepted that this thing happened and like maybe saw what was going on and is now trying to like
Okay.
protect his friends. But I do think they're all dead
Yo.
because even in Euphoria, when we had just seen I Need You in Euphoria, by the end of Euphoria, they're all just in white and they're at the beach, and I was like, that, like that, when you see people dressed in white like that, it usually symbolizes that they're like dead or angels or something like that. So I already thought they were dead like way back
Okay.
then.
I love that we're kind of on a similar page there, because I was like, I don't know what you're going to think about my JK theory being a Reaper, but I kind of like the idea of V being that, because, okay, let's finish Run, but I love how that, so this is also the beginning of seeing, yeah, like V's like very down spiral, so, because, yeah, he kills somebody, he's at least symbolizing drowning, like he's always in water, he's like underneath water, jumping into water, falling. So I think he's the symbolism is like he's like the most far gone of all
Yeah.
of. And then I also loved like the concept of Run being the second video, because they're running, like literally running away from their
Yeah.
problems in the video, and I go, oh god, that's just so perfect.
In this video, I like speaking of our JKV theories and stuff, I actually in this video was starting to wonder if, I guess kind of what you said maybe, but like I was starting to wonder if Jin was not trying to help his friends, because that scene at the end when they pulled Jimin into the bathtub, it's Jin that does that. And like the way it reveals his face, he like pops up out of nowhere in the scene, and then he throws Jimin into the tub, which is in theory how he wants to drown himself earlier. So I started thinking like, does he actually want to help them? But like I don't know, in later videos it's clear that he is trying to help them, like with the Euphoria one where the implication is that he puts Jungkook where Suga is to pull him out of the fire. He puts J-Hope where V is to stop him from killing someone. So like I don't know. I started getting like my like conspiracies were like all over the place at this point because I was like, does he want them dead? Does he want them with him? Does he want
No,
them
see,
alive? I don't
I haven't.
know.
Yeah, I have a different theory about that, of why Jungkook is, again. I kind of already touched on it a bit. Okay, but I clocked that exact same thing I have here in my notes. Jin pulls Jimin in the bathtub, so I think this is a visualization of what Jin's death does to them. That party scene, Jin, it does look directly at the camera like he's like, oh, this is not real, or this is a memory, or whatever. So in my mind, it's like, oh, okay, like maybe, yeah, it's more of a symbolizing that Jin's death really does impact them in a very negative way. So I don't know if I believe that Jin was trying to necessarily help his friends, but he was seeing that his death was going to really deeply affect them, and he didn't like want to move on because he wanted to watch them hopefully again try to help them, but he's dead, he can't. So I kind of like that theory though, what you're saying, that Jungkook would be like his like the angel on earth or whatever of through Jin, but I kind of thought that maybe he was some kind of, yeah, like a reaper, because I'm like, yeah, why would he be there at every single member to save them unless if he was there to take their souls away?
Yeah. But like, yeah, that's
So
why, and especially later when I feel like in later videos, I feel like they're all in purgatory. That's why I feel like they're all dead. So I'm like,
yeah.
I can't quite decide on who I think is the one that's doing it. My current theory is that it's V, but for a period of time I was like, is Jin doing this?
Because yeah, like you said, I don't remember exactly what video it is where is it Run, or I don't know, I can't remember which one, but they do cut back to all the I Need You moments where the person is now alive. Like you said, Suga's being pulled out of the
I think
fire
it's
room.
Euphoria. I think it's that big intro of Euphoria is when it shows like an alternate path that maybe could have taken
Because
place.
Jungkook, yeah, again, in that Euphoria video is staring a lot, and that's why, again, I think he's the one getting all the souls together so they can be together. And then my other theory was the videos that are super bright and over the top, like Butter, Dynamite, Idol, this is them in heaven living out their lives because it's so bright and over the top. I was like, this is how they
And they're
would
just
want
having
to live their
fun, like
life.
they're just dancing.
Yeah, they're happy. Okay, so that was kind of Run. It was like a direct after effect.
But the end of Run is the picture thing. That's where you see the picture with Jimin with the picture. I think you see it multiple times, but the first time I saw it was there's like a post-credit scene at the end of Run where it's them on the 7 of them on the beach in the truck, and then it like pulls back and it's Jimin in the bathroom holding a picture, but there's only 6 of them there, and then he lights the picture on fire. And to me, that means he is also starting to go down the same path as Jungkook, where he's starting to realize it, but he doesn't want to, so he burns the picture so he doesn't have to like be faced with the truth. But like it to me, I think that it's already in there, like he already has accepted it, but like he's still pretending like he doesn't want to. Whereas like with Suga, he's being presented the information, but he's fully not accepting it. You know what I mean? Like there's a subtle difference there.
It could go back too, because he's in the bathtub when he burns it too. I'm like,
and I think
is he dead?
like,
And now he just realizes that Jin's dead.
Yeah, and I think that like I think he's very like much on the cusp of accepting and realizing what's happened, because in later videos, like in Blood, Sweat and Tears again, gets blinded. Like they specifically keep blinding him. They put like a cover over his eyes or put hands over his eyes, because it's like they maybe realize that he's about to be like, this is real life, but they don't want him to accept it either. They want to keep him with them in their like like it's fantasy world.
Oh
Because
my
there's a scene in that where he's
that's good.
blindfolded and he's like tied back to like a room, like he can't go anywhere.
They don't want him to move on. Oh my god, that's true.
And I
That's
think
good.
the person that blinds him with the blindfold is Suga, and that to me is where it's like they both are on the same path to knowing what's happened, but they've separated. Suga's gone like absolutely not, and Jimin's like, well, it is the truth, but like I don't want it to be the truth.
No,
So he's trying to keep him in the same space as.
I picked up a lot on the symbolism of covering the eyes, and
they do it to
lot.
Jin
Like,
too, which I thought was really interesting. Where it's like that's where I started to be like, maybe he was trying to help them, because now they're all like kind of tainted souls. So now they're covering their friend's eyes so that he can't see what they're doing.
Girl.
Because he's been watching them, but then they went down a bad path, and now they don't want him to see that.
Girl. Okay. There was a couple. Okay, yeah. So there was a couple. We gotta move on. But there's a couple other videos from that album, Fire. But I don't really think there's a lot in there, except for again a lot of Suga specific Fire.
The only thing from Fire is that the very beginning, there's that guy in the robe and the mask, and that robed mask person is in other videos. I don't understand where they come into play, but like it's very clearly the same like concept, like same masked guy.
I only hesitate with that because that direct framing and everything, and that guy being on fire and Sugar Shade is a direct reference to Pink Floyd. Like that was their cover of oh gosh, my dad will kill me, Wish You Were Here.
Oh,
which like yo,
Wish You Were Here.
But it's reversed too though. The cover is of Wish You Were Here is two men shaking hands and one of them is on fire. Like it's direct. There's no way you can't look at that still and not be like, oh, that's definitely from.
It's just weird because in Fake Love, that same masked person is in there.
No, I bet there is a reason, but there has to be a reason that they called back to Pink Floyd. But yeah, the song is called Wish You Were Here. So, I mean, and like the whole song is literally just. Here's some lyrics from it. How I wish you were here. We're two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl year after year, running over the same old ground. What have we found? The same old fears. Wish you were here. It's like, okay. You want Jin back? Ah!
Or I wonder if it's like the like, oh my god, my mind's going crazy again. I wonder if it's like two, like they're both. It's like how there's like maybe different versions of them. That's like another version of him that he's setting on fire, because there's also I don't know what video it's from, but I've seen a clip where there's all 7 of them are dressed like that.
Yes.
Like in the robe and the mask.
Yeah, I think it's on.
So like, is that their like soul? Is that the version of them that they killed, or is that like the real version of them?
Yeah, On has a lot of chock full of symbolism that is hard to, like, again, On could be a whole 45-minute podcast itself, but
Oh, I haven't watched that one yet.
oh, okay. So then there's a couple other videos. There's one episode, Young Forever, where there's clips from Run and I Need You, and they're trapped in some capacity in that video. So it's like, okay, again, they're trapped in this like grief. But okay, then we move up to the Wings era, which is Blood, Sweat, and Tears, which again, major video. Okay, so at the very beginning of the video, you see Jin kind of alone, like separated from his friends, and he's staring at this painting. I looked at what that painting is.
I was wondering.
It's called Fall of the Rebel Angels, and it depicts Lucifer and other angels falling from heaven. Right? And that really goes with what you're saying, your theory. When you were saying that about V, I was like...
Because I was thinking, like, when it showed the missing wings, I was like, is he supposed to be Lucifer? Like a fallen angel? Because he killed someone?
Literally!
And then maybe he killed all of his friends?
That's what I know. When you were saying your theory earlier, I was like, wait till I tell you this, because it goes so much with your theory. Because yeah, so he's staring at Jin is staring at the painting, right? So he's like, oh my god, I killed myself. I think that's the insinuation anyway. That Jin killed himself. That he didn't die of like natural causes or something.
Yeah.
My decision has now had all my best friends become fallen angels. And then even at the end of this video, we see Jin kiss this angel statue. I kiss a death, because his death gave this path to all of his friends.
There's also a scene in that video where he's looking around that museum space, and V specifically is the one that comes up behind him and covers his eyes. Which is why I thought that V was like the gone evil one, because he's like trying to hide Jin from...
True.
I don't know.
No, I know, but this is where, again, this is where I was like, okay, if Jin's or V is interacting directly with Jin, I'm like, is he dead?
Well,
like,
this video specifically, I feel like Blood, Sweat, and Tears is purgatory. See, I think that's like a transitional space, because they're going through the museum, and like there's those scenes where they're kind of like where they're kind of stuck somewhere, and like they're having the dinner and stuff. And there's also a lot of like green liquid that to me looks like poison. So like that's why I was thinking like maybe one of them poisoned the rest of their friends to bring them all to this space. I think that's a transitional space, and I think they're all dead there.
Oh, okay, that's great, because I forgot about the whole they're in that pink space where they're all at the last dinner table and Jin's at the head of the table.
And it starts to get really weird, like the colors start to invert, and these colors start to get like really extreme and stuff like that. That's like if you are in like a purgatory space, you're either gonna go up or down, right? So it's like
that's insane. That's insane.
Who's pulling the strings here, and are they gonna like go to heaven, or are they gonna go to hell?
Oh my god.
Are they gonna be stuck here forever? Because if they're stuck there together, then that means they can stay together, because they're clearly not all gonna go to the same place.
Yo, what? Girl, that's too much. No, that's great. That's something. And then at the end of the video too, Jin looks at the white lily again.
Yeah, the lily comes back again.
Okay, so that's that video. My goodness. But yeah, chock full of symbolism. Yeah. And also V, at one point, like you said, everyone's kind of in their own spot. Oh my gosh. And now that you just say that, it makes so much more sense. There's a part where Jungkook is levitating upwards and V falls downwards.
Yeah, that was the other thing too. The way that Jungkook is suspended in air like that made me think that like because he's the one who is accepted it and maybe is the one trying to help them, they've frozen him in time so that he can't manipulate the other members there, because he's the only one that could maybe convince them that this isn't right.
Oh my god.
So he's been like suspended in air where he can't like do anything.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Holy moly, that's a lot. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. So the rest of the Wings albums are a bunch of single songs, and each one of them had a short music video for each one. They were kind of not really music videos, though. They were truly like short films. You don't really hear their music a lot in it at all, and it really breaks down the lore of a lot of their individual places in that grief section. So, Begin, and this is where I felt the Reaper vibe, or like something is different with JK. Maybe, and like you said, maybe he is the only one that fully is accepting and is trying to wake everyone else up to it. I can see that too. But basically, the song is Begin. Jungkook is like literally in this liminal type space, but he's in the exact same clothes as Jin in I Need You, and the only difference is his shirt has like a different pattern on it, but it's a white shirt, black shorts, and he's staring at this painting of someone's face. It doesn't look like Jin to me, but then it like catches on fire, and it's very, again, all these are very artistic. But I was like, okay, this is the exact same setup. So I was like, how he must be dead too, like Jin. He's trying, or but like your theory would suggest maybe he's trying to understand where Jin is and processing that, and then trying to get everyone else, because like, okay, my mind's blown. So that's that one. Again, they were very short. They were like 2 minutes each. The next one is Lie, and this is Jimin's song. And again, all symbolism with water, bathtub, hospital. So you see him kind of in like an open space with 2 hospital beds. He's in one, no one's in the other one. So to me would indicate J-Hope, because they're always linked in the hospital.
Well, yeah, and there's a scene I think it's in Euphoria, where J-Hope is not, that he's with V instead, and it shows Jimin alone in the hospital, and I think it shows empty bed there too. And then it shows him running through the hospital with his friends as if like a memory, and then he's alone, and he looks at the camera because he dies.
Yeah, he's dead. He's dead. Yeah, he's dead. And there's another cool moment. In Lie. Again, the song's called Lie too, so I'm like, is he lying to himself? Because there is a scene where he's like, kind of like almost feels like at an interrogation table, but there's no one on the other side, and he has an apple and he eats the apple. Now that'll be important later, and then there's also a picture on the wall, and he looks at it. Okay, and there's actually a really cool shot where he falls into the bathtub and it comes back out in the hospital, like in one smooth motion. It's like, oh, it's just a cool shot. But
I mean, that's so clearly like connected. Like, I haven't even seen it, and I'm like, I can picture the whole thing in my head already.
No, this whole Wings, the Wings album, the videos were all directly linked. Stigma is V's song. He's wearing a Nirvana shirt, which he wore in another. It's a different Nirvana shirt too, so I was like, okay.
He's wearing a Nirvana shirt when he jumps off the pier in Euphoria, and then he's like in the ocean water or whatever.
And there's, again, has the Nirvana, and he's being put in a police car, and he gets taken to a police station and is being interviewed at the police station. So
because he murdered someone.
Yeah, and this is the video where I was saying earlier that it shows the abusive backstory. Again, it's very poetically, but it's very obvious that you're trying to say he was abused by his father, and his father also abused his mother.
That's why he did it.
And he's getting interviewed by the police, and he's going to jail, basically, in this video. And it sucks for a lot of these because there was a Korean on screen, so I couldn't tell what these phrases were saying, and I didn't have a chance to look up what they were saying, but 100%, and he's going to jail.
Yeah.
Like, that's 100% what this...
Like, that's like the reality of what was supposed to happen.
Yeah. First Love was Suga, and again, there's a lot of fire representation, a burning piano, which I thought maybe could represent the death of something important to him.
I mean, he does play the piano in a couple of videos. He plays the piano in Blood, Sweat, and Tears. He plays like a dirge on the piano. Like, it's amazing.
But yeah, exactly. The piano is something in this whole lore of this. But that was pretty much it for Suga's. And then Reflection was RM's. And again, I didn't mask too much, but like, basically it felt like, you know, a falling apart of his life. Things falling apart, like things were shattering, breaking. Okay, maybe he can't cope with, trying to move on, whatever.
Yeah.
Mama is J-Hope's song, and he's in a hospital full of pills, and he's, it's the pill hospital thing.
Connected.
But at the end of the music video, he's looking at the exact same photo Jimin was looking at in his music video. So there's the connection there of them maybe being in the same hospital, seeing the same photo. And then Awake is Jin's song, and Jin is, again, he's trapped in this room, and then towards the end, he leaves the room, to me, symbolizing he is moving on from his purgatory state, because the room is clearly the same room as I Need Your room, or like it's supposed to be. There's also an apple at the beginning of the video, he doesn't eat it. So I was like, he doesn't need to eat. So he's dead for sure.
To me, so the way you're describing it, it kind of sounds like that series of videos is like real life, like what the result of what they actually did after I Need
Mm,
You, like that. That's what it sounds like to me, because like V's getting arrested, the two are like kind of in the hospital, like clearly where they were supposed to be. If RM is like, he had his like day job or whatever that sucked, so obviously he's like pissed off or whatever. I don't know the sugar thing. Maybe he really does just die in the fire. He becomes he becomes like an
yeah.
arsonist or something.
Well, actually, the beginning of it is him breaking into something to get to the piano. So maybe it's his self-destructive behavior
Yeah.
of post trying
Just
to
like a
deal with it.
continuation of that. But like that to me, it's not the way you're describing it. Kind of sounds like where all these other videos go off into like this fantasy, like alternate reality type thing. This is like what real life should have and would have and maybe is.
Yeah.
Maybe
Oh,
all this other stuff is just like an illusion.
girl, that is great. Yeah, because, the last one is obviously Jin's and Awake, and it's called Awake again.
Yeah, and like the way in these other videos, he never really like passes on. He always seems to be trapped like in that room. Even in like Fake Love, he's still in the room, but it's like filled with sand and the windows are broken and stuff, but like he's still in that room. He never actually like
Yeah.
really leaves it. But whereas this now you're saying like that seems more like this is reality. He's died. He's like, I've done it. I've accepted it. I can't change the past. Go away. Heaven.
Yeah, and even the cherry on top of that is you see the door before he leaves is like all scratched up, like he can't leave. And then when he actually does leave, there's 6 photos on the ground, and they're like captures from each of the short films, basically. So like he's seen that. That's again where I was like, I think he feels like he actually can't help his
Yeah.
friends because he's just like, he made this life decision and is now realizing it impacts. And this goes back to Euphoria, because at the end of Euphoria they have a quote that says, you might not be everyone's world, but you are someone's
Yeah,
world,
whatever it is. You're the world to someone.
and this is Jin's realizing he has to pass on, he can't do anything to
Yeah.
help his friends.
I guess, yeah, that kind of fits everything because now I'm thinking all these other videos is like these are his attempts to fix things. And then finally he gets to the end and he's like, I can't change anything.
Yeah. And then the last video really is Spring Day, and it's very much, you see all basically kind of Jungkook is alone on a train. Okay, so this is where I was like, he's alone. Again, goes to your theory. And basically, they all end up in the same place at the end, near a tree, and they have shoes, and then they hang the shoes up on a tree. So I think that's supposed to symbolize Jin's death, and maybe them trying to, in the real world, move on finally from his death.
Yeah.
Because then we go to the Love Yourself era, and that kind of doesn't have too much in the lore. I mean, it does, but it's like more of like looser than these videos. We enter Love Yourself era, and there's so many videos of it being so colorful over the top. So it does kind of go to your theory that they're either, I mean, I think the actual plot is like they've all kind of like moved on, but I like it that they're all because now they're all in this colorful space, and like DNA, it's like a super colorful video, and they're all like happy together in this like liminal space of color. And I was like, okay. And then the other video is Mic Drop, which doesn't really have much.
Mic Drop seemed like an anomaly to me.
Yeah, it's its own thing. It was also with Steve Aoki, so I'm sure
Yeah, it's like a collab video. But I guess if you think about Blood, Sweat, Tears and them like forcing each other to stay in this like purgatory space, you could connect it to these bright videos where it's like now we're just stuck in this like fever dream. Like we've trapped ourselves in like this
Yes.
purgatory space, and now like that's that timeline of things is them stuck there being like the color being blasted and like distracted.
Totally. Oh my gosh. Because, the next videos are Fake Love, Airplane Part 2, and Euphoria for Love Yourself. And so Fake Love we kind of talked about, but this is where, again, I started being like, JK has such a bigger role in this because there are scenes, there's literally a scene where JK is above Jimin, like in like an attic thing, and he's looking down on Jimin.
There's a similar one where he's like on the other side of the door that J-Hope is in.
Yeah, exactly. So
they're on like opposite sides of the door, but his base is like all black, like there's nothing there.
He's fully realized, and he's really trying to get his friends up like to his
Yeah.
side.
And that's where you see like the Jin's flower is like kind of dying by that point, and he, even though his like room is all messed up, he's trying to like protect it and stuff. But later in the video, Jungkook comes across a room that has like sand and stuff in it, and it just has the container for the flower on the ground there. So it's like they're clearly in the similar space together, but like at different times maybe.
I have here in my notes, Jungkook and Jin interact with the same sands of time,
Yeah.
is how I put it.
And if you look at his shadow, the sand falling through his fingers, it turns into like petals. So like they're clearly whatever is happening to them, it's happening to both of them, but just like maybe at different times or in different spaces because he's not trapped in the same kind of room that Jin is in. And like his thing, he was in like a waterfall area and like it directly went into like Jimin's room filling with water and Suga's room exploding in fire, like when JK found that room.
Yeah, and it's the symbolism of the fire and water for Suga and Jimin.
Yeah.
Okay, so this
But
is where
that's why to me it seems like Jimin and Sugar are on opposite sides of acceptance because it showed them like opposites like that a few times. And if you look,
yes.
Jimin's room fills with water and he doesn't look happy about it, but Sugar's room fills with fire and he smiles.
Oh,
Like he wants that to happen. He wants to just accept like be dead or whatever and like not accept truth. Whereas Jimin is like, this isn't real kind of thing.
right. This is not right to. Oh my god, that is so good. Even the like fire and water, like you said, are opposites. Are like
I know. When I saw that scene, I was like, okay, whoa, because I was already thinking that about Blood, Sweat, Tears when Suga's covering his eyes. I was like, whoa, they're like opposites or whatever. And then it showed that specific scene back to back, and like it cuts to JK, who was obviously like in the middle somewhere. Like,
that. Now I remember why I thought JK was a Reaper, basically because of this video where I see him looking down on his friends. And then I remember at the end of I Need You and Euphoria, he gets hit by a car. So he could be dead. So that's where I thought he was dead potentially. But maybe he's trying to, like, I don't know. There's something
yeah.
there.
So
Cause, like,
I think I was curious about that because like it doesn't ever show him getting hit by the car. And in one of them, the car, it definitely stops and it stays on his face and he smiles. And like in people's other theory, that's when he realizes that Jin's watching over them. Like, cause I think it's in Run, at the end of Run, you see Jin driving the truck, but then the implication later is that there's only 5 people in the back of the truck. So the 6th person's driving and Jin was never there. But then at the end of that video, it looks like he's gonna get hit by the truck, but then it stops and he smiles and it's supposedly him realizing Jin is watching over them. But I wondered that too, because I like sometimes it looks like the car does hit him, and then sometimes it looks like it doesn't. And I could kind of see where like if Jin is starting off trying to save them, but he can't, and then JK takes over that role later, maybe that is like more of a symbolism of like them, like their jobs passing from Jin to JK. Like I can't save them, so you need to save them. You know, like a transference of power or something.
and again, Euphoria is the last.
I think in Euphoria is when it looks like he does get hit by the car too.
Exactly. And it's very much at the very end of the
Yeah.
video. So, but I do believe also that Jin theory of him knowing because they cut to that again in multiple different videos to a simulation of him getting hit by a car and looking and acknowledging again, looking in our camera
Yeah.
though, or into us too. So
Yeah, I know.
there's just so that's why I'm like I don't know if he's supposed to be like a reaper or like a savior, but because he does in the video anyway, Jungkook's is the one that's there for each one of them
Mhm.
when they're dying or about to die. So, and then in this fake love, yeah, he's like very integral to like again, very separated
Yeah.
as well from the other members.
He's the only one that can like see all of their rooms. Like they can't even see like each
Right.
other anymore. And even it seems like even Jin can't even see them anymore.
Because in Wings, he's moved
Yeah,
on.
because he left, I guess. But like his room's like kind of like decayed also, so to me it just seems like he just didn't he wasn't strong enough to like maintain it or whatever.
Oh my god, that's insane. Airplane 2, again, it's another video that's very light and bright and has a very like so again I'm like they're just having fun in this separate universe. And then it's Euphoria, which I think we've talked to Meph about,
Yeah.
but there's a visualization of V jumping into the water, a Jin seeing all of his friends living, JK helps all of his friends. Oh yeah, it is Euphoria. So again, like, is, like, your theory, could JK be, like, Jin's agent in the real world? I don't know, I have a vibe that JK is dead.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, my vibe is that they're all dead, but like maybe
Yeah.
his role is to like save their souls
Mm.
somehow. Like, if you're gonna die, don't do it in this like terrible way that will like taint your soul.
My other theory too with Euphoria, because yeah, they were all in white towards the end, so I thought that maybe Jin was holding out in purgatory till they all naturally died,
Hmm?
and then they move on together.
Maybe like, yeah, when they die naturally, they just go back to their like younger selves because that's when they were.
Because that was when they were the happiest together.
My other thought about it, like I mean, I guess it could still apply, but my other thought was that the way they're dressed is also pretty like psych ward uniform. So like maybe they all like lost their minds a little bit and they were all kind of like just hallucinating all of this because
Yeah.
the uniform even has like little pockets and like they're wearing, some of them are wearing it over like regular clothes and stuff.
True. Yeah.
Like RM's wearing it over like a long sleeve shirt. Like I don't know. That was my like one off side thought where I was like maybe they're just like all in the psych ward and it's all just like in their
That
minds.
too. Because yeah, then we're like Idol is also on this album, and that is the most fever dream
Yeah, that
music video I've ever
so
seen.
crazy.
So okay, so there's only a couple more left. Let's kind of power through it, but there's Black Swan, which I didn't see too much in it. It just has, there's one moment where Jungkook is watching like a shadow dissolve. So I was like, I don't know if that symbolizes anything, but that was pretty much it for me that I got on. Is again chock full of symbolism, but I'll try to go through it as fast as I can. So V has like veins on his neck, like black veins on his neck that are like looking like they're either he's cursed with something or he is no longer like, or impure. But he also at the end, there is a young girl blinded and he takes her blindfold off and now they both can see. But it's also, this whole music video is like in an alternate universe type dystopian vibe. And throughout the whole video, Jungkook is bound by like...
Oh, I've seen pictures of him like that.
Honestly, I was getting way too much Jesus vibes in this
Yeah,
video.
it's like a
'cause they were,
thorns
like,
or something.
thorns, and then he, at the end, he goes into water, and then he's unbound, and I was like, okay, that's a way too much Jesus symbolism.
But
for
I mean,
me,
I guess
personally.
if you're thinking about the painting from Blood, Sweat, Tears about the fallen angels and stuff, like I guess it is like a sort of a Christianity theme in a way.
Oh, well, true. And it also kind of goes to your theory, too, that he is the, like, again, I thought maybe he's died,
Jesus.
maybe he's...
He's Jesus saving them.
He's Jesus saving their souls. But maybe he's the one, he's the savior of some capacity. He went through all this pain to try to go save them. I don't know. And then at the end too, this is the video with the 5 cloaked members, all of them cloaked. Again, when Jim is getting his hands on, he picks up a conch shell and blows through it and makes a sound, and then they cut to like a dance break.
Okay.
And it's in this like, yeah, it's like, but there's a lot of symbolism.
Yeah, I mean the conch shell even is like indicative of a beach, right? Which they spend a lot of time on beaches throughout the whole thing.
But then it cuts, yeah, to them all in these 7 robes, and I'm like, I don't...
Yeah, the robe thing is where I'm like, we're missing like an integral piece of plot here with the robe thing.
I know. And also at the end, Jin really... Okay, at the beginning of the video, Jin finds a dove pegged, like killed by a arrow. And at the end, he was able to resurrect this dove, and the dove flies off. There's something there. Dove usually represents
I mean, it's kind of
peace.
like the theme, right? Where if he's trying to like his friends did these reckless things and either died or go to jail, but he's been trying to save them. So I guess like that could be like a symbolism of that, right? This dove is dead, and he was able to save the dove. Maybe he can save his friends
Himself.
or maybe
Or
himself.
he has to save himself to move on. But so there's a lot there, but it's so now this is the one that killed me last night. I was watching the music video Lights, and this is I think from Proof or B maybe, so like 2020 2022, like very, they're basically like they're in this movie theater, Jin is walking alone and he passes by 3 other members and they kind of pause in time, but he's still there walking by them and they don't interact with him through the whole music video. They don't interact with him, but he's like next to them. And I was like, oh, come on, like this has to be like.
That's just him watching over them, like
I
trying to be with
know.
them.
And then the other thing that kind of blew my mind though were this part. So they're in the theater. There is, I think it's J-Hope, RM, Jin on the end again. If you're sitting there naturally, it's not going to look like he's taking someone's spot. But then Jungkook is in the middle of them at the other row. And at one point, Jin wakes Jungkook up. And I was like, what the fuck? That's where I was
they're
like,
both in the same space.
That's what I'm saying! I was like, what? But then there's a point where it cuts to Jin's alone in the theater watching his friends on the screen.
Oh.
Girl, you gotta watch
Watching his
this
memories.
But Jin doesn't directly interact with any member except for Jungkook when he shakes him awake. It shakes him awake. So I'm like, what is going on? And then you'll like this part. The only other character that kind of interacts with Jungkook directly is V. V wakes Jungkook up too at one point. And then it's V, Jungkook, and Jimin. So I don't know. There's something there though. So that was what blew my mind. That is the latest video. And the last video, period, the latest video they've ever released is called Yet to Come, which is like crying.
Yeah.
Because it's basically their last video, basically saying, we've loved everything that passed, but the best is yet to come for our music, basically. And they cut back to all of, like, references to all their eras. And I was like, oh my god. So it's, like, nothing directly linked to.
Yeah, but, like...
But because in this one blew my mind, too. Jin puts his hand over V's eyes in that video. I was like, what? I know.
So, like, I feel like Jin is, like, supposed to be the angel, V is the devil, and Jungkook is, like, you know, the guy in the middle.
Totally.
Like, is he gonna be a good guy? Is he gonna be a bad guy?
There is no doubt in my mind that Jin is dead.
Yeah, I know.
For sure.
When I first watched that, like, analysis video, I was like, wow, this is so crazy. And I was like, at the end of it, I was like, I think I like it. I'll go with it. But the more I was watching, I was like, no, this is actually 100% solid fact. Okay? This is the truth.
It carried through the most beautiful moment in life all the way to proof.
Yeah.
Like, I was so shocked, and it's so freaking good, and I loved it. Again, the symbolism, as a sucker from the film world, it's hard not to be like, oh my god, the symbolism aspect of it. It's not like completely bashing you over the head with it either, but it's...
Yeah. It's a very clear story happening there. And it's like an ongoing story, so you can like keep watching.
And again, for me, it was the other side of their music. Oh, there's a deeper angle of either loving yourself or loving your friends, just loving in general. And I'm like, oh my god, they are perfect.
I've been hearing a lot of the translations for the lyrics and stuff lately, and like, yeah, there's a lot more depth there. Like, there's a lot of songs about love yourself and, like, I don't care what other people think of me, or they want to say this about me or that about me, but I don't really care. That's why I love Idol so much.
Idol?
It's so good.
I literally can put on Idol in the worst mood and I will feel better.
Yeah, because it's like, can't stop me. Can't stop me loving myself.
And the other song, too, kind of what you were saying, I didn't realize until you hear the translations, like 21st Century Girl, too. It's literally about being a woman and just be like, yeah, just be who you are, someone's gonna love you. And I was like, oh my god,
yeah.
you guys.
But even, like,
so
that's why
sweet.
even I love, like, Silver Spoon and Mic Drop, because they're both songs where they're just like, everyone wants to say all this, but, like,
oh,
I don't give a shit.
Totally. I always, again, because we don't speak Korean, I always go to a song for, like, melodically and the beats and all that stuff. And so Silver Spoon was like that. I was like, oh yeah, I like this song. And then when I heard the lyrics, I was like, oh, this is about being a millennial and like a really shitty time to be a millennial. And like people be like, you guys don't work hard enough or whatever. And I'm like, oh, I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that about wraps it up. That was like an hour of us talking about these themes, but
when we discovered the like Euphoria connection, we were like thinking we should talk about these two music videos in our next episode, and then it just like kept spiraling out of control to where like both of us were like, my head's just like mush right now, like I don't even know what way is up right now. Like I need to get these thoughts out. And like you were saying, we were like watching them and like writing notes and stuff. I wrote 7 full pages about only 5 of these music videos. Like as I was going through, I was like, okay. And then I think you like checked in and you were like, girl, these are a lot of notes. And I like looked at the page count and I was like, okay.
I know I couldn't even like yeah, but same. I was like, okay, you have your full theory. I'm gonna go in and just take notes while watching music videos. Mine's 4 pages
Yeah.
as well, and it's just like jot notes. And I was like on my phone trying to write these messages. It was a good ride. It was a great ride, though. I don't regret it at all.
Apparently it's gonna be ongoing. So I'm like actually genuinely wondering if like next when they come back, will there be like another addition to this storyline? Because that would just like blow my mind if they released like new music videos and one of them was directly connected. I would scream.
I know, because again, I wasn't expecting that either. Like I told you, I'm going through every single song. I'm just gonna watch it just so I can prove to my like self, like, okay, yeah, this isn't connected. This is connected. And when I got to the last lights there, which came, I was like, this is like, so directly
Yeah.
connected to me.
Well, the other thing is like people were connecting some of their solo stuff to it also. Like they released like kind of trailers for their tours, and when Augusty released his, he's like in a room and there's another version of him outside the room and he lights the room on fire that one of his versions is in.
Like I can't.
And then even with J-Hope's like recent one, there were like a few like there's a Snickers bar in a scene, which is a thing from Fake Love, I think. And like there was like a few little pieces of like just bric-a-brac on his table and they were like this is from this video, this is from this video. So I'm like even this literally 2025 J-Hope tour and he's like why else would you have a Snickers bar? Some of the stuff I'm like yeah, maybe it's a stretch, but like why would you have a Snickers bar? He was literally lying in a whole bed with them. So I'm like they are still maybe hinting at this plot here and even in their solo stuff.
Stop. Alright, guys, we'll keep you posted
Yeah.
in future episodes for sure if we notice anything. Because, yeah, BTS is coming back, baby.
We need to get the lore down pat, ready for the next chapter. If anyone else has theories or thoughts, definitely
Let us know.
I love a
'cause
conspiracy theory, so
I love a music video theory. Yeah, and now we're tired. Now we're gonna take a nap because that was a lot. So
okay, catch you guys next week.
bye.